Morning, everyone. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and so today I want to try something new and actually do some coding tutorials. So I really enjoy just helping people, trying to teach different topics, and I know that coding can definitely. There's a lot of different places to start. Coding is such a huge topic. Where do you start? How do you start? And what I really find that works the best is just to pick something and just try it, try it, try it. And eventually you're going to be so confused at the beginning. You're not going to know what you're doing. But just by playing with things, you start to, oh, I kind of understand this concept a little bit better. And then from when you actually have like an idea of, okay, I kind of understand the playing field, then you can go and start to explore what you're more interested in. So, the method that I'm going to try to do with these videos is just to either build a, not a project, but kind of different, projects that are either not necessarily useful, but through going through these projects, you might be able to understand a little bit more about the concepts in programming and gives you kind of a framework. So, what I'm going to be using is Python. And the reason why is because Python is very, I don't want to say simple because it's not simple. Python is very user friendly insofar as a lot of those concepts, which can be found in different languages like C++, are not initially needing to be taken into consideration when you're working with Python. So I have here Visual Studio Code. So this is the IDE that I am going to be using. You can use whichever IDE you'd like. So I have this folder here called YouTube projects. So that is what I will be working on. Let's get this. Come on. There we go. All right, so first to open up your project, you can click this little Explorer button, and then over here to open folder. All right, and now just navigate to that specific folder that you want to work in. So that's for me, desktop, then YouTube projects, and then open. There we go. Okay, so now I have this YouTube projects open right here. I'm able to click this plus new file, and now I can type the name of the file that I want. So it doesn't really matter what you call it. It could be first.py. The py is important though. That means Python. So what we're doing right here is we're writing a Python file. Okay, there we go. So we have our Python file. So again, as I said, the best way to learn is just to play around. So I'm going to kind of show you guys a little bit of stuff that you can do, and then I would encourage you to play around with it, purposefully try to break things. And when I was first learning programming, I was always afraid like, oh, I don't understand one particular concept, and it got me in a deadlock that I didn't want to move forward, and I was so petrified of like, oh, I have to know everything. Coding is not like mathematics, where if you have mathematics, you have a mathematical equation, right? And if you're in calculus and you're doing something and you don't know something from in like algebra, well, you have to go and learn that concept in algebra before you can go and do the calculus problem. Programming is not like that. It's kind of you're thrown in the middle of it. You don't learn from electrical engineering, then from operating systems, or actually embedded systems, then operating systems. Then you don't learn from the lowest level. You don't go all the way down and then start to go up. You kind of get thrown into programming, and there are a lot of stuff that's happening under the hood that you don't see, and it doesn't really matter. Like it from your perspective, if you don't understand some of the things, it doesn't matter because you'll be able to explore it later on if you're interested in it. You can go as deep as you want, and it goes very deep. But sometimes what you have to do is just like, okay, I don't understand everything right now. That's okay. I'm going to be moving forward. I'm going to try to, again, play with it, uh, just see what I can do, mess with stuff, try to break stuff. Software is nice in the fact that you can break something and then it doesn't really matter. Just press the go button again, which is right there. So this is the go button. Let's see what it does. Let me move this over. Close that. There we go. And there we go. We did it. Let's do it again. And nothing happened because we haven't written anything. Okay, so let's write something. Something very, very simple is a print statement. So what we can do is print and then first Python program. There we go. So this print right here, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's press this play. And you can see right here, it printed to the screen or to the console, first Python program. So you might say, that's not very impressive. Who cares about that? We're building, right? So we're trying to learn all of those foundational building blocks, and just, it's a long adventure, right? So this is one skill now that we have in our toolbox, is how to actually print something to the console. And what did it print? It printed whatever was in these quotations right there. So first Python program. Okay, cool. So we now know how to print. Let's try to print something else. So print, let's see. Let's try just doing 1. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So now we have something else that's going on. I didn't need to print this like, I didn't need to go like that. Why? And then when I do that, it looks like it's the exact same thing. Like, what's going on there? Okay, I know what we can do. We can print and then first Python program, like this. Uh-oh. We're getting an error. Okay, so what's going on? Now, what's happening is this right here, when we did this print statement here looks for whatever is inside these brackets, and it tries to be able to print it. Now, it's only expecting one thing inside of it. Okay, thing. What do I mean by thing? What is a thing? So when I put this quotation marks around this phrase right here, it identifies it as one thing. It is and in programming, it's called a string. So this is one thing that we give to print. And now print takes that and says, okay, thank you. I have one thing, and I will print this thing, okay? Here, when I did the 1, this is a single thing because it is a single number. If I do like that, okay, this one will, let me just delete this here. This one will work as well because it's just taking one number, and a number is a thing. So we can, phrase or a string, that's what it's called. A string is a thing, and a number is a thing. Okay, so if we do this, it works. Now, so why did print and then first Python program, why did this not work? Well, because this print statement doesn't know what to do with this. This is not one thing. This is, first off, there's an F here, an I, R, S, T. This doesn't make sense to it. We need to tell it this is one string. And why is it called a string? Because each of these little guys here is called a character. So a string is a bunch of characters together. So we have a F character, an I character, an R character, an S character, a T character, a space character, a P character. So we have all of these different characters together, and so then they're in succession with each other, and that makes it a string variable. Okay. So now I can run this again, and it works. And I use the word variable. What is a variable? Okay. So a variable is something that you can hold a different value in. What do I mean by that? Okay, so let me just show you how you declare a variable, and then we can print that variable. So my variable equals, and now we have to put a thing, like 10 or 0, but we can do 10. Okay, so now what happens is this variable, okay, it is assigned the value of 10. So 10 lives inside this variable. So now what you can do is print, and now you want to print one thing. Okay, well, my variable is a thing. This is one thing, and it contains 10. So let's run this, and let's check down here what's going on. We see 10 right there, because we printed this one thing, which is 10. Okay, well, let's change this to 2 and see what happens. Okay, so it's 2 here, so that still worked. Let's change it to something else. So I am typing a sentence. So we already see with these little squiggly lines underneath that there's something wrong going on here. So I'll press this go button, but we can pretty much rest assured that there's going to be a problem. Let's press go and see what's up. Okay. And it says specifically invalid syntax. So what's going on is, once again, this is not a thing. And a variable needs to hold a thing. So how did we make this right here a thing? Well, we just put it like this, like that. Now, this is a single thing. And what do we do with this thing? We take this thing and we put it inside of my variable. So my variable is the same as this thing, and then I take this variable and put it into here. So I give it to print, and now when we print, it will print out, I am typing a sentence. So let's press go. Here we go. I am typing a sentence. There we go. Okay, so what if, I'm going to get rid of these right here. Okay, what if we want to use this variable twice? So let's print it again. So print and then my variable. So I'm using the exact same thing, the exact same variable twice. And this is kind of why variables are a little bit nice, is that you're able to reuse them. Okay, so press go. I am typing a sentence, and I am typing a sentence. Okay. But what if I change the value of the variable? Like my variable, and then I want to assign it to 10. Can I do that? Well, let's try it out. Let's see what's up. Yeah, Yeah, we can. So, okay, what happened here? We took this variable and gave it this thing. And then we printed that thing. Then we said, okay, well, actually, I want to change the value of that variable. And remember, variable, in the mathematics sense, is something that changes. It varies over time, right? So we can reassign variables. There we go. We just did. We said, no, you are no longer this thing. Actually, you are this thing. You are 10 now. And then we printed it. Okay, cool. So now we're able to print something else. And there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do with variables. So, for example, we can have variable 2 equals, and then let's say 2. Okay, so now we have 2 separate variables, and we can do. Ooh! Oh, happy birthday, someone. Anyways, we have 2 separate variables, and what we're able to do with these is we can do different operations on them. So let me show you what I mean by this. So my variable and then plus variable 2. Okay, and now let's print this. Now I said that print only takes in one thing. So why did I provide this plus a a third thing? So this is 3 things, right? No. What is going to happen is like this. Python is going to come down here, and so it executes from top to bottom, okay? So it comes here, and it says, okay, what's going on? This is one thing, and I'm going to store it inside of this my variable. So it says, it takes that, I am typing a sentence, and puts it into my variable. So now my variable is equal to, I am typing a sentence. It is that thing, that one thing called a string. Then it comes down here and says, okay, I'm printing something. And then it looks in here for one thing. And this is a thing. Okay, so no problems. Does it? Then it comes down here and says, oh, my variable is equal to, okay, cool, so I'm going to be changing it. I'm reassigning what my variable is. Now it's equal to 10. There we go. Comes down here, prints. Okay, I'm going to be printing something. What am I printing? I'm only expecting to print one thing. Oh, I found a thing right here. So you print it, okay? Then come down here and say, oh, a new variable. Okay, cool. What is this new variable equal to? It is equal to 2. So it assigns 2 to this variable. Now it comes here. It says print. Oh, okay. I know how to print. I can print one thing. And it comes here and it looks at this. But this is kind of an equation, right? And what happens is it will do that operation inside of the parentheses. And this, my variable is 10, and then you add 2, and this comes out to be 12. Well, 12 is one thing. So it first does that equation and then gives it to print, and print says, all print sees is that 12, and that's a thing. So go ahead and do it, right? It's the exact same as if I just did print and then 12. same thing, okay? And I can show you by doing this, we're going to get we're going to get I am a sentence, and then we're going to get 10, and then we're going to get 12, and then we're going to get 12. So mark my words, and let's see what happens. I am a sentence because of this, 10 because of this right here, these two lines of code, then 12 because of this, and 12 because of that. All right, so let's keep playing with it. So what would happen if actually instead of print, I don't want 10 plus 2. I want maybe let's say that this is, I'm going to do a thing, another sentence. So all of a sudden we have 10 plus another sentence. Yeah, that didn't work, did it? And just intuitively, you can kind of tell, like, that doesn't make much sense. Like, why, how can you add 10 and another sentence? There's something fishy going on. It doesn't make much sense. And this kind of comes into the idea of types. Now, if you look here, it says int and string. Okay, we already know what a string is, right? It is a bunch of letters put together. Okay, so we know what a string is. What is an int? Well, do you remember from mathematics, one of those little terms that you learned a long time ago, probably forgot, integer. Integer means a whole number, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, -3, -4. That's an integer. 1.5 is not, because it's not a whole number. It's not one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -5, -10, 1,000, a billion, -1,987, right? Those are integers. So what it's saying is unsupported operand. What is an operand? It is the operator. It's the thing that's performing an operation. Okay, so operand for plus. It's this little plus here. So unsupported operand, int and string. So my variable is 10, which 10 is an integer, and then plus is the operand, and string. So all of a sudden this error starts to, at least you might not know how to fix it, right? And again, when I was first learning how to program, that freaked me out. Is I would see stuff like this and I would have no idea what it is and what's going on, and then I would come and think that I'm a bad programmer, or I can't learn this stuff or something like that. No. Like, whenever you get an error, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to learn, because there's something going on that maybe you don't understand, and it's time to investigate it, figure out what's going on. Why did it fail? That's interesting. And no one knows immediately. Like, when I'm at my job, I regularly come across things that I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea how to fix it. I don't even know what the error means. So I have to just look at it and try to think, like, okay, what might be going on? And that's kind of part of engineering, is thinking about what might be going on. You're kind of in this dark forest. You have no idea what or how to go about moving forward with your project, but you have to just, like, try different things, try your best to, okay, I'm so confused right now, but I might be able to make some progress. I might be able to, not progress as in fix the error. First, you have to just understand what's going on. So we kind of understand what's going on right now. We have this operand plus, and we have an integer value here that we're trying to do a string. Okay, so what is going on? Well, what's happening is unsupported operands. So that means Python has no idea how to add an integer value, which is 10, and a string value, which is another sentence. It says, I don't know what you want me to do with that. So this is an illegal operation. You can't do that. So that's kind of what's going on. Now the question is, okay, well, what do you want to accomplish? Maybe you say, like, I actually do want you to do this, but I just want, what I'm hoping is for it to say, like, something like, put this 10 here, and then put this another sentence here. Maybe that's what you want. You want, like, 10, another sentence. Something like that. There actually is a way to do that. So, what if we just go like this? And then press go. Look at that. Look at that. Oh boy. Oh no, we're stuck, huh? Well, now what's going on? Why are we able to do this? Okay. So, string and integer. This right here. Is it a string or is it an integer? All right. So I said integers are those whole numbers, right? But if we have these parentheses right here, that actually indicates, no, this is not, or whenever we have those parentheses, whatever is inside is just defined as a string. So we could have like negative 10.5 or negative 10.5. That is just defined as a string, okay? So what does it do? It doesn't even look that this is an actual number. It just says, I don't care what's inside of it. It's just a bunch of letters, and in this case, the letter is a number, but it's just a bunch of successive numbers. So successive letters. So it's just looking, and it says, oh, it is this letter right here, which is a minus sign. Oh, it is this letter right here, which is a 10. So what we're doing is we're taking these grouping of letters, and then we're adding another grouping of letters, which is another sentence. And that is supported by Python. Adding two strings is supported. And what is the output of this operation? Well, what it does is it just takes the first string variable, which right now is 10.5, and let me run this again. So, okay, negative 10.5, that was the first string, and it just adds to the end the second string. So there we go. All of a sudden, we're able to have those two things together. So this is going to be the first thing that we're learning with Python is just how to manipulate those different variables and how to print them to the screen. So going forward, I will be making more videos talking about more Python related concepts. And so my suggestion right now is just to have this very simple like idea of taking a variable right here and assigning something, and then trying printing it and see what happens. When you're doing programming, you don't need to invent Facebook. You have to first learn basics and just play with very basic things. So there's nothing wrong with just sticking to this like very basic stuff, learning what's going on, playing around with it, seeing what works, what doesn't, and if you run into an error, just trying to fix it and then being like, oh, okay, I think I understand what's going on, and then moving forward with it. And actually, there's one other thing that I want to show as well. Let's go back to this. Let's go like this. Okay. And I'm gonna change this to be 8. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so I said that this was an integer, or not an integer. This is actually called a float value. Okay, so the negative 10.5, the 0.5 makes it a float. So now, what is going on? We have a float value, which is 10.5, and we have an int value, which is 8. So now, why did we not get an error here? That's a good question, right? These are two different types of variables. Well, why is it not throwing an error? And the reason is because back when we got that initial error, that the plus operand is not supported for integer and string. It is supported for integer and float. It's supported for integer and integer. It's supported for string and string, right? So there are a bunch of combinations that it is supported by, and a bunch that it is not supported by. And a lot of times you can kind of figure out like what will be supported and what won't be supported just by common sense. Like it didn't make much sense to say 10 plus and then a sentence. It didn't make much sense, right? Just logically. But the way that you can find that stuff out is just by trying it out. Like actually doing that, like 10 plus string very, and then trying to see, oh, nope, it doesn't work. Float, remember, that's the other one, and string, that's not a supported operand. So playing around with things, not being scared to break stuff, and then once you have kind of understanding about this, okay, great, now we're ready to move on to the next stage, which the next video I'm going to be making is about if statements and loops. So those are fun, and so what I would suggest right now is just play around with this and try assigning different values to variables and then printing it out, see what's going on, see how you can, what values you can store, what values you can't store, and try to understand like how that's working. And yeah, so hopefully this video was helpful for you. I will be making more videos in the future, so subscribe to this channel, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you.